What if disappearing was not an accident, but a decision made behind closed doors? In an industry where fame is manufactured and erased at will, silence can be more powerful than any public scandal. Today's story is not about failure, nor about talent lost. It is about control, and how one of Chinese television's most recognizable rising stars appeared to fade, not because he fell, but because he was pushed. This is the story behind the controversy surrounding Xu Kai, and why his sudden absence sparked one of the most unsettling debates in modern Chinese entertainment. This is not the story of a fallen star. It is the story of how power operates when no one is watching, and how easily art can become collateral damage. As audiences, the question we must ask is not only what we see on screen, but what we are never allowed to see at all. Thank you for watching LVT-SHOWBIZ. What makes a role promising is not only its position on paper, but the trust an actor places in the story he agrees to tell. When Xu Kai accepted what was introduced as a leading role in a major historical drama, it carried the weight of professional faith. Months of preparation, physical training, emotional investment, and long days on set were poured into a character meant to anchor the narrative. At that stage, nothing suggested loss or retreat. The project symbolized momentum, the natural progression of an actor entering a more mature phase of his career. Yet, promise is fragile when control lies elsewhere. What appeared stable from the outside was already shifting beneath the surface. A role can be signed, filmed, and still never truly exist if its purpose is quietly rewritten. In such moments, ambition does not collapse loudly. It dissolves, leaving behind the unsettling feeling that something meaningful was taken before it ever reached the screen. As the drama moved closer to release, absence became impossible to ignore. The character who was meant to guide the story slowly vanished from its public face. Trailers offered glimpses without substance. Promotional material redirected attention elsewhere. The transformation was subtle enough to avoid immediate backlash, yet deliberate enough to change perception. A lead character does not simply disappear by chance. Visibility in entertainment is currency, and when it is withdrawn, it signals a recalibration of power. The most unsettling part was not the reduction itself, but the normalization of it, as if erasure were a natural byproduct of production, rather than a conscious decision. For audiences, the confusion lingered quietly. For the actor, invisibility became a message delivered without words. Presence is conditional, and relevance is negotiable. In this space, silence replaces explanation, and disappearance becomes policy rather than accident. Creative betrayal often reveals itself not through conflict, but through revision. When scripts are altered after filming, the damage extends beyond narrative structure. It undermines the integrity of performance itself. An actor performs with intention, guided by context, relationships, and emotional arcs. To dismantle those foundations after the fact is to invalidate the labor already given. In this case, scenes that once held narrative weight were removed or repurposed, leaving fragments where coherence once existed. Such changes are rarely neutral. They reflect shifting priorities, commercial calculations, investor influence, or marketing strategies that value immediate traction over artistic continuity. What makes this betrayal particularly profound is its invisibility. There is no moment of confrontation, no opportunity for defense. The story is simply no longer the one that was agreed upon. In that quiet revision lies a deeper truth. When creativity becomes subordinate to profit, authorship no longer belongs to those who perform it. Marketing, without consent, transforms representation into exploitation. When an actor is repositioned within a promotional narrative he did not author or approve, The boundary between performance and personal identity begins to blur. In this situation, promotional campaigns leaned heavily on a romantic dynamic that was neither central to the original story nor contractually acknowledged. The intention was clear: to generate engagement, to stimulate fantasy, to monetize emotional investment. Yet, the cost of such strategies is often borne by the individual whose image is repurposed. Consent matters not only legally, but ethically. Without it, marketing ceases to be promotion and becomes appropriation. The actor's work is no longer respected as craft, but reshaped into a tool for consumption. This shift carries lasting consequences, as public perception is molded by narratives the artist never intended to tell, leaving little space to reclaim authorship over one's own image. There is a particular kind of disappearance that requires no announcement. When an individual is gradually removed from posters, press releases, and official discourse. The message is delivered through omission. This form of erasure is effective precisely because it appears passive. Nothing is denied outright, yet nothing is affirmed either. In industries governed by visibility, absence speaks louder than controversy. It conditions audiences to forget, to redirect attention, to accept replacement without question. For the artist, this quiet removal is deeply disempowering. It offers no clear injustice to confront, no statement to refute. The narrative simply moves on. Such practices reveal how control operates most efficiently, not through confrontation, but through subtraction. When silence replaces acknowledgement, it becomes clear that power does not always need to punish openly. Sometimes, it only needs to stop remembering. Silence is often misinterpreted as weakness, yet, in environments shaped by imbalance, it can be a calculated form of self-preservation. Choosing not to speak publicly is not always a lack of voice, but a refusal to participate in a narrative designed to consume and discard. In this case, restraint suggested strategy rather than surrender. Legal processes, contractual considerations, and long-term career survival often demand composure over confrontation. Public outrage may offer momentary validation, but it rarely guarantees protection. By remaining silent, the actor preserved dignity in a situation engineered to provoke reaction. This choice reframed the narrative, shifting focus away from spectacle and toward systemic behavior. Silence, here, became an act of resistance, quiet, disciplined, and deeply unsettling to those who rely on noise to control perception. When official channels fall silent, audiences often step into the void. Fans, once passive consumers, become active participants in meaning-making. They revisit old footage, compare early promotional material, and question inconsistencies. In doing so, they reclaim a sense of agency, not only for the artist they support, but for themselves. This transition from admiration to advocacy marks a significant shift in fan culture. No longer content with curated narratives, viewers demand transparency and accountability. The collective effort to uncover what was altered, omitted, or reframed transforms private disappointment into public discourse. In these moments, fandom becomes a counterbalance to institutional power. It does not replace authority, but it challenges its invisibility. When the actor cannot speak, the audience becomes the echo that refuses to fade. If you believe stories like this deserve transparency, if you think artists deserve protection, not exploitation, please like, share, and subscribe to support independent storytelling. Let us know in the comments. Do you believe silence can be a form of resistance? Or should actors speak out, no matter the cost? Your voice matters. We'll see you in the next update.